Okay, I'm Jackson Burns. I'm the Redneck Archaeologist. See that little rabbit run behind me? You missed it. Anyhow, I am in Prarie Grove, just outside of Fayetteville, in the middle of the Prarie Grove Battlefield. We have a sign over there that says Battle Tour. And there's a battlefield all the way across there from the inside of my truck, across there and this way. So we're going to take the battle tour. Now the thing about this is a special battle for me and my family, my mother's family. This is where my great uncle, his name was Joel Smith, he was killed. He was 18 years old, a Confederate, 2nd Arkansas Mounted, fighting under McIntosh, and he was killed here on sentry duty, picket duty. So we're going to drive through the battlefield. You can see right over where there's some rises right over there. That could be a mass burial of some of the men and horses. So you can see right over this, there's a couple of little humps right there, a couple of little humps right in there, back over in that area. Looks like as if that might have been some kind of a burial or breastworks. Behind me is the Borden house. This house was actually occupied during the fight. This has been called the most intense firefight west of the Mississippi. During the Battle of Prarie Grove on December 7th, 1862, this was occupied by families of the Borden family, and then they sought refuge in another house west of here, 1 mile west of here. The Battle of Prarie Grove happened all around his house, everywhere around his house, all out through here. So we are now standing in the middle of the battlefield of Prarie Grove. I'll get this up here high enough. We'll walk in the middle of it. This is where one of my collateral ancestors was killed on picket duty. And this is the battlefield. People died, casualties everywhere, all around us. So you can imagine all the carnage here. Probably late at night, you might even have ghosts and things happening here. You never know. But anyhow, the Borden family came back the day after the battle, and their house had been burnt down. There was no house there. This house was rebuilt in 1870. That was as soon as that anybody could get back in this region that was not an outlaw or a crook or something like that, you know, all in the western part of Arkansas at that time. Because of the battle and because of the Yankees taking over, the Confederates were on the run. So there was no law here anywhere in all of western Arkansas until 1870. And that's when law was being brought back and restored. My family escaped. A lot of them were fought in the battles up here at Wilson Creek. My great-great-grandfather, great-great-great-great-grandfather, which was the brother of my uncle that was killed at this battle, fought at Wilson's Creek, went on and fought at Battle of what the Yankees call Pea Ridge. Us in the Confederacy, or from south, call it the Battle of Elkhorn Tavern, and he fought in some other ones, but he basically was captured. He left here after Elkhorn Tavern, Pea Ridge, and split from here, went all the way to the Choctaw Nation in Arkansas, and was captured and then forced to double time it or run all the way back to Fort Smith, Arkansas, which is 50 miles over the mountains. And then from there he was shipped to Camp Douglas, 80 acres of hell in Chicago, Illinois. That was the infamous Yankee prison camp for Confederate prisoners, where one of his I would say prison mates was a guy by the name of Stanley, who went and found Livingston later on. Livingston, Dr. Livingston, I presume? That guy. He was captured while, and made a POW while he was with the Confederate troops as a journalist. This is the battle. This is Herron's attack. This is the battlefield. This is that damn Yankee. He attacked a Confederate position on this ridge. This is where the Confederates were dug in at, all on this ridge. And then he attacked here. The fields right down there is where he attacked, and that's where the battle took place, a good part of it, right down in that area, where that road and where that white car is coming, all that hay is. The ford of the Illinois River was under artillery fire, so there's a lot of artillery hitting over there in that area. And they crossed northwest of the ford, almost directly north of this spot. And then he had the Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, and Arkansas troops here under his command, the Yankees. He took the brunt of all the battle, and they kicked his ass all over the place. That's why they run out of ammunition, because they shut up the men so damn bad. Killed a lot of Yanks. There's an old cannon. So anyhow, we are here in the midst of this battlefield, and there's a boarding house right behind me. Alright, behind me in this battlefield right here is where, let me make sure I get this right. This is the Borden wheat field. This is where the Borden wheat field was. Remember, we were at the Borden house. And this is Lieutenant Joseph Faust, Union's Missouri battery set up artillery here, and they shot up way the hell over there on that ridge and blew the heck out of the Confederates. Anyhow, they were supposed to be, the 94th Illinois was supposed to be part of the first federal charge, but they were a bunch of chickens evidently and decided not to attack, and they all laid down in this field whenever the artillery from the Confederates pounded them. And because they were going buck, 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 and you know, sky is falling and hiding, they weren't hit hardly. And so they basically escaped the whole battle because they laid in this field right here. And not hardly any of them was even hit. The moral of the story is, why be brave when you can be a chicken and survive to buck, buck, buck another day? I'm Jackson Burns, Redneck Archaeologist, and I am signing off from the Battle of Prarie Grove.